morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 573rd episode of Travel Itch Radio. Well, I'm not going to do the math, but boy, that is a lot. I'm Roger Noriega, also speaking for the absent Dan Schlossberg, and we're in our 13th season of Travel Itch Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair. Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and maybe even ships, but we'll get to that, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travel Itch Radio. Our guest today is Brendan Clark, History and Heritage Curator of the beautiful Queen Elizabeth II floating in Dubai. Welcome, young man of Travel Itch Radio.
Thank you so much, Roger, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here on Travel Itch Radio. Yes, the Queen Elizabeth II is indeed a living piece of history, and I'm thrilled to share that with you today and your listeners.
And I thank you. Yes, listeners and viewers. I don't know why Dan still calls it Travel Itch Radio, but that's okay. It's all good. Of course, first of all, Brendan, we want to thank you for accommodating the time difference between, well, not New York, but Los Angeles and Dubai to do the show. What time is it there now?
At the moment, it is 1 a.m. in the morning. It's around just past 1 a.m. in the morning, but it's absolutely my pleasure. To be honest, I'm more than happy to join you at any hour and talk about the Queen Elizabeth II. The ship has such a rich history, and so any chance to share that with your listeners is worth staying up for.
It's most kind of you. I do want to take a quick moment. We have several people watching us already. Folks, let us know who you are, where you hail from. Go ahead and comment in the chat room. And Brendan is able to see your comments as well. He might even be able to comment directly. But don't be shy, folks. Let us know who you are and where you hail from. My colleague, Dan Schlossberg, who was unable to join us tonight, told me that he hosted 2 baseball-themed cruises on the QE2 when it was still a ship in active service, and that he loved the experience. Let's talk about history, if you would. We know it was launched by Queen Elizabeth II, but how long was it in service as an ocean liner, and how many world cruises did it complete?
Well, yes, the Queen Elizabeth II was launched by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II back in 1967. And it went on to serve as a beloved ocean liner for nearly 40 years. And over that time, the QE2 has completed an impressive 25 world cruises, making her one of the most iconic ships to sail the seas. She's, I would say, connected passengers across continents, with each journey aiding to her remarkable history and reputation, of course, as a symbol of British maritime excellence. Today, we're, I guess, honored to keep that legacy alive here in Dubai, giving our guests a glimpse of her storied past.
It is absolutely wonderful that she has not been put out to pasture, so to speak. That is, yes, really good to hear. I understand the QE2 covered 6 million nautical miles, equivalent to traveling to the moon and back 15 times. Is it fair to say that it was the longest serving ocean liner in the world?
Definitely. The QE2 has indeed sailed about 6 million nautical miles. And so we can approximately say 6 million, nautical miles in total. Yes, this phenomenal achievement certainly places the QE2 among the longest serving ocean liners in the world. The QE2's service record and the sheer distance she's covered are unmatched, cementing her status, I would say, as one of the most enduring and beloved ships in maritime history.
Wow, that's impressive. How many passengers sailed on the QE2? Or, Brendan, is it proper for me to refer to her as a QE2, or should I Queen Elizabeth II. What is more appropriate?
Well, the actual name is Queen Elizabeth II, and yes, it is often referred to as QE2. So you're more than welcome to refer to her as that. Yes.
How many passengers sailed on the young lady?
Wow. In passengers, I think she's gone over 2.5 million in the 39 years of service. A lot of repeat, but still, I would say over the decades of service, among them, where the passengers are concerned, they were some really remarkable figures, I would say. The Queen Elizabeth II hosted notable passengers from royalty to heads of state, Hollywood stars, cultural icons, figures like His Majesty King Charles III, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal. President Nelson Mandela has been on board, Elizabeth
Wow.
Taylor, Buzz Aldrin, and if I'm not mistaken, we also have one of the Titanic survivors on board the QE2 that have traveled as well.
Wow, that's impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Brendan Clark, History and Heritage Curator of the QE2. So I have to ask, when and why did it come to Dubai, and where is it anchored? Is that location close to major attractions there?
Absolutely. The Queen Elizabeth II was acquired in Dubai in 2008 with a vision to preserve its heritage and transform it into a one of a kind hotel, allowing guests to experience its history firsthand. Today, the QE2 is permanently anchored at the Mina Rashid, which Mina translates to port, so Port Rashid basically, in Dubai's cruise terminal, which is close to many of Dubai's major attractions. This area is technically known as Bar Dubai, and Bar Dubai translating to basically the center of Dubai. So guests can easily reach landmarks like the Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall, La Mer Beach, and the historic Al Fahidi neighborhood. And this unique location definitely combines the ship's rich legacy with a more modern vibrance of Dubai, you could say.
Brendan, completely off topic. We have yet another tiny connection. Being that I'm here in Los Angeles, the city of Long Beach has the Queen Mary, another famous ocean liner, which I have been aboard. Oh, that's amazing.
Also,
No, go ahead.
it is
I'm
also
sorry.
sorry, it's also a Cunard ship.
We have yet another item in common. That is so cool. I appreciate that. The QE2 has always been educational, inspiring, and known for its grandeur. It seems every corner, every nook and cranny tells a story, which you preserve and promote through your guided heritage tours. By all means, please share.
Well, the Queen Elizabeth II is steeped in history, and each guided heritage tour takes guests on a journey through its storied past, from the elegance of its original decor to the artifacts that capture moments from its days at sea. Our heritage tours are a unique experience, and it allows visitors to explore the parts of the ship that preserve the character and charm of the QE2's heyday. Beyond the tours, we also invite guests to dine aboard and with distinct dining venues to choose from. Each has its own, I would say, unique ambience, from all day dining to casual spots, whether it's a quick drink, a buffet, the Royal Afternoon Tea, very famous Cunard QE2 Royal Afternoon Tea, but now it's managed by Accor. And we offer diverse culinary experiences that allow guests to fully immerse themselves in the QE2's charms. Among these is the Golden Lion, and that would actually be Dubai's oldest pub, where visitors can relax and have an authentic British pub atmosphere experience.
The oldest pub in Dubai. That's that has an interesting ring to it. Wow. No, that is cool. And since the ship is now a hotel, how many staterooms are aboard?
Well, at the moment, the Queen Elizabeth II offers a truly unique hotel experience with 447 rooms and suites on board. Each room has been thoughtfully refurbished to blend the original features with modern comforts, allowing guests to enjoy the charm of a classic ocean liner while relaxing in a contemporary setting.
Wow, that is cool. That's what they've tried to do here in Long Beach as well. It's
Yes.
yeah, it works in my humble opinion. Um, Now, the Queen Elizabeth II was a luxury liner. Guests came from all over the world. I imagine that is still the case.
Absolutely. The QE2 continues to welcome guests from around the world, just as it did during its days as an ocean liner. People are drawn to its rich history and unique charm, which truly stands out in modern hospitality landscape. Today, we host a diverse range of visitors, some first timers, while others are absolutely loyal guests who fondly remember the ship from its days at sea. Whether they come for an overnight stay, a heritage tour, or to dine in one of our historic venues, guests are here to experience the QE2's timeless appeal, making it a truly global destination right here in Dubai.
I do apologize. I should have been maybe showing a few of these images as you were speaking,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
maybe we'll get a chance to talk to them specifically in a bit. But is that from the oldest pub on the ship?
that is absolutely correct. Those are some of the new lineups for our menus served in the Golden Lion, and that is exactly the new lineup for drinks that we have at the moment. Yes.
Excellent. I think you may have mentioned this a moment ago, but when she was retired from service, did the Queen marry? Well, no, you didn't answer this. Did Queen Elizabeth II? Did the Queen Mary II replace her as the flagship of the Cunard fleet?
Yes, that is correct. When the QE2 was retired from service in 2008, the Queen Mary II, which is another Cunard ship, took over as the flagship for the Cunard fleet. The QE2 has served proudly for 40 years, and its spirit and heritage continues to live on here in Dubai.
This is Travel Itch Radio with Roger Noriega, subbing for Dan Schlossberg. We're in our 13th season and approaching our 600th episode. We're live at 5 New York time every Thursday. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, WhatsApp, X, Twitter, Facebook. And if you think it, chances are we're on it. But I kid, of course. We are talking to Brendan Clark, History and Heritage Curator of the QE2. We'd like to know a little bit more about the history of the QE2. And I should have remembered this. Wasn't she actually used as a troop transport during the Falklands War of 1982?
Absolutely. The QE2 played an extraordinary role during the Falkland War in 1982. She was requisitioned by the British government and transformed into a troop ship, transporting around 3,000 troops and over 650 volunteer crew members to the South Atlantic, south of Georgia. It was a remarkable and swift transformation. Her luxurious interiors were adapted to accommodate military needs, and several helipads were added to the forward and aft deck. The chapter, or I would say this chapter of her history, adds another layer to the legacy of the QE2, showcasing her versatility and dedication to those on board.
I did not know that, Brendan, and I should have assumed you would need basic services as a helicopter deck. Wow. Didn't know that. That is among everything else that you're sharing with us. When and where was the ship launched, and when did she make her maiden voyage? Was it across the Atlantic, as some ships do?
It was indeed. The QE2 was launched on September 20th, 1967 at the John Brown Shipyard and Company. And this was on the River Clyde in Scotland, with Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II herself making the announcement. The QE2 then made her much anticipated maiden voyage on May 2nd, 1969, after a sea trial in 1968 to Las Palmas. But also in 1969, as I just mentioned, on the 2nd of May, she would travel from Southampton to New York. And this was the beginning, I would say, of her nearly 40-year career as one of the most celebrated ocean liners.
I was 11 days old on May 2nd. And tiny
That's
bit of
good, man.
trivia. I share the same birthday as the former monarch of the United Kingdom, which was kind
Very
of cool.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, do the math, folks. 11
Okay.
days. I want to ask, and I apologize if I am interrupting. There is a delay, ladies and gentlemen, and I apologize. You can tell I'm excited to talk about this. So I do apologize, Brendan. I do want to ask, is it true that the ship was steam powered, but then converted to diesel, kind of like a railroad locomotive?
Well, very similar in that aspect. Not with coal powered, however, it was diesel powered, oil powered. But yes, that is correct. The QE2 was originally steam powered with steam engine turbines and engines, and when it was launched in 1967, running on three steam engines powering two steam turbines. However, in 1986 and 87, she was sent to Bremerhaven, Germany, and under Lloyd Werft, they would actually conduct a major transformation and convert it into a diesel electric propulsion system. And this upgrade not only made her more fuel efficient, but also extended her operational life.
Did, as a technical question to that, did it extend her range? The difference between steam and diesel?
So, for example, with steam, you would say the consumption of fuel was one of the main concerns. You would, let's say, with steam, you'd be consuming per day around 550 tons of fuel. But with the diesel electric engine, she would consume only as low as 340 tons of fuel. Besides that, it would also add, the new engine would also add a lot more power
Yes.
to the ship. If you actually think about it, most of your modern day cruise ships, their top speed is between 22 to 26 knots. And whereas with the QE2, her top speed is at 34 knots.
In any world, that's a fast ship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, that is fast. Again, you may have touched on this, but when was when was the QE2 retired, and how soon was she able to make it to Dubai?
Well, the QE2 was officially retired from service in 2008.
Yes.
Soon after retirement, she sailed to Dubai on her final world cruise, a 16-night world cruise in 2008, arriving on November 27th, 2008. Dubai became eventually her permanent home, where she was preserved and transformed into the historic floating hotel that she is today.
Speaking of such, what type or what kind of conversation conversion was needed to convert? It's funny. It's 11. It's 2 p.m. and I'm the one butchering the English, and Brendan is doing great. I'm so sorry. What kind of conversion was needed to convert the cruise liner into a permanently anchored hotel?
Well, converting the QE2 from a cruise liner into a permanently anchored hotel, I would say, was a complex and meticulous process indeed. Significant renovations were made to adapt her original design for a hotel experience that is unique in every way, all while preserving the ship's historic features, I would say. Many of the public spaces, restaurants, and staterooms were carefully refurbished to maintain the vintage charm, but upgraded with more modern comforts.
Yes.
I would say the new infrastructure was also installed to support hotel operations, including plumbing, air conditioning, and electrical systems, as an example. Well, to be honest, the goal was to honor the QE2's legacy while still creating a unique experience for guests that combine the history with modern hospitality.
Excellent. I imagine that the young lady, the QE2, has a bit of age now. Is it difficult to preserve the vessel as a heritage ship?
Most definitely, preserving the QE2 as a heritage ship is rewarding, but definitely a challenging endeavor. As a historic vessel regular maintenance is essential to keep her in prime condition, from the original woodwork and fixtures to the iconic funnel. Every element requires special attention to ensure the authenticity of her character and to ensure that it is retained for years to come. Additionally, we work with heritage specialists to maintain her historic features while incorporating modern amenities for our guests. It is, I guess, a very delicate balance of honoring her past while adapting to present day needs. And honestly, it is a privilege to protect her legacy for future generations to experience and enjoy.
As a matter of fact, I believe this is the midship lobby that we're looking at right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the midship lobby as what it looks like today. Amazing picture taken by our photographer and marketing lead, Feroz. You'll notice in the background, there's actually this beautiful monochromatic artwork on the wall, and that is done by artist Peter Sutton in 1992 and added on board himself.
You mentioned a few of the modern amenities. Is this, only because I don't know any better, but is this in keeping with the look of the ship in maybe a different time period, or is it deliberately modern? I don't know any better.
So if you notice, even in the image that you're actually showing right now, there are the actual layout of the room is very similar to the original layout. This is indeed a captain's room with balcony, so it's one of our more upscale rooms. The design and layout is very similar. The style of the furniture is very close to, I would say it is a perfect blend between our more modern tastes and requirements, but still having a 70s, 60s, I would say a 70s feel, which is one of the most, I would say, accurate, I would say, features of this room. Yes.
Excellent. There's another picture I'd like to get to real quick. And this is part of the ship's history. This is, I believe, a gallery related to just some of the technology when she first sailed.
Yes, this is actually known as the Travelers Cove Museum. It is on the deck 1 of the QE2. I've been part of the curatorial process for this museum. It is actually one of my first curatorial projects, and it highlights the entire history of the QE2 with items that have been donated to us from passengers as well as from ex-crew members. And we've actually accumulated a lot of this, put it out here on display for people to understand the journey that the QE2 has taken since 1969. A lot of these items, they come back to us by guests and by passengers. I always like to say there are a lot of guests who have collected this over time from their time aboard. Some of them have borrowed some items, but we have them back here now, and it is just really helping us solidify the importance of the QE2 in maritime history.
Brendan, you are so right. Definitely borrowed, because they were there and they have returned back home. That's perfect. That's excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to Brendan Clark, History and Heritage Curator of the QE2. Do you feel guests actually get a chance to step back in time and recapture the grace of a bygone era? I know this is a self-evaluating question. It may not be fair.
No, absolutely. Stepping aboard the QE2 is like taking a journey back in time. In all fairness, we've carefully preserved her original features, from the elegant wood-paneled corridors to the classic furnishings in the staterooms and public areas. Guests are surrounded by the charm and sophistication of a bygone era, experiencing firsthand the features that make the QE2 one of the most beloved ocean liners. Our heritage tours as well, historical artifacts, and the original venues all add to this authentic experience, allowing guests to relive the elegance of classic ocean travel right here in Dubai.
I believe this is an image of the young lady docked, correct?
Absolutely. That's in Mina Port at the moment, yes.
Wow. And on the outside, we see the propellers, correct?
Yes, both of the last pair of propellers used on the QE2 added in 86 and 87.
Okay. Knowing that the propellers are where they are, any chance the QE2 could actually sail again, even if it's only once in a year heritage cruise?
Well, while it is absolutely a captivating idea, the QE2 is now permanently and safely docked in Mina Rashid with no plans for her to sail again. Her current role as a floating hotel and heritage destination in Dubai allows us to preserve her legacy in a very unique way and making her accessible to people from around the world. And if we want to really keep that up, it is recommended that she does not hit open waters anytime soon.
Yes. On a personal note, are the tranquil water that was are the waters of the Persian Gulf tranquil compared to, say, outside of the Gulf?
Most definitely within the Gulf, I would say it is very tranquil waters. It is always very popular for a lot of cruise ships, a lot of travel. Um, I would say it has been better compared to a lot of other areas, given the fact that the waters of the Gulf come into the actual. So if you look at the map of the Gulf, the waters are kind of coming inward rather than being out in the open ocean. So it is a lot more tranquil than most other place spaces.
I have to believe that helps in a small way in keeping the ship in better conditions.
Most definitely.
Is it fair to say that the Queen Elizabeth II offers experiences not found anywhere else in the world?
Yes, most definitely. The QE2 currently offers a unique experience as a luxury floating hotel and a heritage attraction as well. And this allows guests to immerse themselves in a blend of history and modern comfort. Visitors can stay on the in one of the most beautifully restored staterooms or suites, dine in any of the restaurants, and explore the ship's fascinating past through the guided heritage tours. The ship is also a host to special events, private gatherings, and cultural experiences, providing a very rich combination of leisure, history, and hospitality, all in one very unique destination. I'm aware that there is other ships around the world, such as the one we just spoke about with the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. I believe it is a similar experience if you look down to the brass of it. However, in all fairness, each has its own unique set of, uh, I would say, charm. And the
Oh, yeah.
QE2 is most definitely the only one in the entire Middle Eastern region.
There are not very many former Cunard ships docked anywhere. There's no doubt about that. Now, I understand that during the heyday of cruising, the midnight buffet was a highlight for many passengers. I understand there's still a buffet, but it's not at midnight anymore, is it?
Well, yes, most definitely. That's right. While we no longer offer a midnight buffet, we've carried on the tradition of a great dining experience. Guests can still enjoy an impressive buffet at the Lido restaurant, one of its originals, but at more convenient times now,
Yes.
allowing them to savor a wide range of flavors inspired by the ship's legacy. So, yes.
Excellent. I thank you for that. I understand the ship has won many awards and honors during its time as an ocean liner. Has it won any as a hotel?
Yes, the QE2 has continued to receive several recognitions in its new life as a hotel. Since its transformation, the QE2 has been honored with various awards, and that all of these awards celebrate its unique offering and dedication to preserving its history. Those accolades, I would say, reflect the hard work and commitment of the entire team to deliver an exceptional experience while still honoring the ship's legacy. So, yes, several awards over the years.
You mentioned special events. I understand that the winter holidays are coming up. Is anything special for the QE2?
Well, the festive season is always a magical time anywhere around the world, but most especially aboard the QE2. And we have a range of festive events planned to make the season truly special. Our annual festive tree lighting at the pavilion will kick off the celebrations, eventually bringing families and friends together for an enchanting evening. We'll be offering festive afternoon tea the at the Queen's Grill, by the way, which is one of the most elite restaurants aboard the QE2. Christmas Day lunch in the Queen's Room, which is one of the largest ballroom aboard the QE2, and a New Year's Eve gala dinner to ring in the new year in style. Guests can also book private festive events throughout the season, by the way, each with a 10% early bird discount if they are booking in advance. So we're excited to welcome everyone aboard the QE2 for a memorable holiday season.
This is just winter, folks, for those that are watching us right now. I can only imagine what's throughout the year. Now, you mentioned that your heritage tours are educational. Do you have any that are geared towards students as a learning experience?
Yes, absolutely. Our heritage tours offer a fantastic educational experience for students, providing a unique opportunity to blend about and learn about maritime history, engineering, and the QE2's role as a global global events. Um, I would say we've tailored specific tours to engage young minds, incorporating interactive elements and stories that bring the ship's history to life. We focus on Cunard Line, its long-standing history. We focus on the Titanic as well. We talk about that. That has been a very interesting and I would say very engaging topic when we're doing our tours. And of course, these tours align with the educational goals of a lot of the curriculums here in the UAE, making them ideal for school groups who want to explore history in a very hands-on way. It's a memorable learning experience that students won't find in any traditional classroom setting, that's guaranteed.
Just as you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, it's so much from reading it as opposed to actually the tactile experience. I can only imagine what that is like.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. That's absolutely awesome. Do any of the, which I imagine this would be, but I don't know. Do any of the former captains or crew come back to to see the ship?
Absolutely. We are very, very fortunate to have a very active group of former captains and crew members who remain deeply connected to the QE2. There is always a tether that connects all of them together, and we see them come back to the QE2 very regularly, sharing their stories and memories, which I believe adds a very special layer to the ship's legacy. They're passionate about preserving the QE2's history, and they're often engaged with our heritage tours and events, mostly firsthand experiences that they bring to the ship's story. I would say just brings so much life in a way that is truly unique. And we're really grateful for their ongoing involvement in keeping the QE2 spirit alive for our guests. As I mentioned, there are so many artifacts, so many items, and rich, uh, such a rich collection of history we have aboard the QE2. This would not be possible if we did not have ex-crew, ex-passengers bringing these things to us and help keep the history and heritage alive.
I have a multi-part complex question. Have you ever sailed aboard the QE2, which is an it's an ocean liner, correct? Or an
Absolutely.
ocean as opposed to a cruise ship, right? She is not a cruise ship, right?
Well, originally the QE2 was built as an ocean liner. However, in 1975, she would start sailing on her first world cruise, so she would still cover that technicality as a cruise
Okay.
liner.
Yeah.
And most definitely, I think one of the only ships that also holds the title of a troop ship during the Falkland War, as we just discussed earlier. But yes, unfortunately, I haven't had the privilege of sailing aboard the QE2 during her days at sea or years at sea. But I do feel incredibly honored to be part of her journey now, as she serves as a floating hotel and heritage destination here in Dubai. Working aboard this legendary ship still gives me a sense of history and adventure that I believe passengers experienced during her heydays. And as an ocean liner, I feel I've been on other cruise ships, uh, specifically MSC Virtuosa, having met
Oh,
Captain Chris Pugh, who actually used to work for Cunard and an absolute fan, I would say, of the QE2. He keeps visiting us every year whenever he gets a chance and the cruise ships come by, almost pilgrimage like. But yes, I at the same time, I believe really nothing could compare to the heritage and charm of the QE2. It is truly a one of a kind ship.
you are most kind, Brendan. And I have to tell you, I am, in a good way, most envious of what you're able to do. And I hear your passion. Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. I'd like to ask, as we're nearing the end now, I don't want to don't want to make you suffer anymore at 1 in the morning out there. Do you receive any ideas or suggestions from guests, either past or present?
Yes, this is very common, and we greatly value the ideas and suggestions we receive from our guests. Many are passionate about the QE2 and have wonderful insights on ways to enhance the experience and the entire, I would say, their time on board. From historical enthusiasts to farmer passengers, our guests often share stories and ideas that help us maintain the ship's heritage while offering a new, memorable experience. So we encourage feedback always, and we're always looking for ways to make each visit even more special, so we can continue honoring the legacy of the QE2 for years to come.
Excellent. Now, before I ask my last question, I know I've gone off script and I apologize, but in your position, have there been moments where you are called out at 1 in the morning or at other times to, like, maybe there's a guest, as you know, some that are a little higher up in the world, I suppose, that want to know and you have to provide like information or anything. Have you had those moments, Brendan, where you're not expecting to speak to some people?
To be honest, I am not exaggerating here, but that happens every single day.
Oh, wow.
And I am absolutely privileged to have that opportunity. We speak to people who are enthusiasts. We speak to maritime experts. I have the privilege of speaking with ex crew, ex passengers. There hasn't been a week without one ex crew or passenger or someone who is absolutely interested in the history of the QE2. And I'll be honest, it has happened at odd times and it doesn't really faze me one bit. I enjoy it, every single bit of it. It's just, I've had tours that have lasted almost 5 hours, and you'd be surprised to know I'm not exaggerating. It has been very enthusiastic. We say our heritage tours are about an hour long, and that's what we say officially on our website. I don't think I've ever ended a tour in an hour or so. It has always gone about 1 hour, 45 minutes, sometimes two. And if we have ex crew and passengers, it is quite frankly, not a tour anymore. We just walk around talking and sharing moments of her history. And I have a very in-depth knowledge about the ships, so it just makes it so much more comforting and rewarding.
I I can only imagine what that is like. You're on a tour, and then you have someone there that chimes up and says, "Oh yeah, by the way," and they can add to that. Oh my goodness, Brent. I can only
Absolutely.
imagine what that's like. I have
Absolutely.
to. I apologize. Is there anything you would like to add? Which could probably be 3 hours, right?
Absolutely. I mean, 49 years of service and sailing over 6 million nautical miles, having 25 captains in total. All of this can't be encompassed in an hour on a tour or even on this platform right here. But yes, I would like to say, first of all, a big thank you to Travel Ish Radio and all your viewers today. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure sharing the story of the Queen Elizabeth II with you all. For anyone interested, by the way, in learning more about the Queen Elizabeth II Hotel, I invite you to visit our website at QE2.com, where you'll find detailed information on our heritage tours, dining options, staterooms, and upcoming events. You can also follow us on social media. I mean, it is like you mentioned in the start of your video, or if it's online, we're there probably everywhere. So yes, we're most available on most common and popular social media platforms. And this will get you a chance to view all our latest updates and a glimpse of life aboard the QE2. So most definitely, we look forward to welcoming you on board in future.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you caught that. QE2.com. You excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is absolutely awesome. I want to thank Brendan Clark at this ungodly hour. You are so kind, and it's been absolutely awesome, young man. I envy you in a good way, and
Absolutely
I,
appreciate it.
I can only imagine, and I thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I just want to tell you this is the 50th anniversary of the home run that broke Babe Ruth's record for Hank Aaron. You know all about it. Get the book from Dan Schlossberg, Home Run King, the remarkable record of Hank Aaron. Check it out. It's a 265-page hardcover. You know where? Check it out on Amazon. For now, that's it for this edition of Travel Radio. Next week, same time, same place, same writer. We'll talk to travel writer and world traveler Lisa Ayanuki about her favorite places. Now, this is, of course, your host, Roger Noriega, also speaking for Dan Schlossberg, saying thank you for your time this time and next time. Good night and stay safe, and we will see you all on the other side. Thank you, Brendan.
You're most welcome.